Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to our episode 2 tonight, our first video. Welcome to our show called Shenanigans with Shannon and Lena. And tonight we are going to talk about foods that traumatize us. I am Lena.
I'm Shannon.
Nice to meet you. I'm just kidding. All right, so we're starting this series. Why? One, I don't think we talk and laugh enough, and we are interested in seeing what types of foods have traumatized you. So, I'm going to let Shannon start. Shannon, would you like to share what food traumatized you?
Sure. I am going to start with a simple one, I think. So I'm going to say liver.
Liver.
It's like the most disgusting food that I've ever tasted in my life. And I could remember, just growing up in the 80s and 90s. Mom was like, you finished all your food, right? So when she would cook liver, I was stubborn. I did not want to finish it.
You're not too stubborn.
I
don't believe it.
I remember one particular night I just wasn't going to do it. And, my brother and cousins were sitting at the table and they found a little way to get out of it.
Okay.
And I just wasn't that great at doing that kind of stuff. So I'm the one left at the table. Mom comes in. She's like, you going to eat that liver? And I'm like, she's like, don't get up from the table. You don't eat the liver. And I think I sat at the table all day.
Thank you, Mom, for not making me sit at the table.
I pushed the plate to the center, put my head down and went to sleep. Until I was, all right, it's time to get up. Yo, don't you ask me for anything. So from that day forward,
so you slept it off to keep from eating.
Yeah. And as an adult, tried it again. It's the whole texture thing for me and the taste too. So
can someone in the comments tell me why you would try liver again? I know there are people out there that like liver. I can't say I've ever tried it because I can't get past it raw. The look of it, I can't get past that.
I ain't never even got to that point.
So I've seen it.
And my mom's family is big on liver and grits. With gravy.
Fix your face, Lane.
Yeah.
And grits.
Yes.
So this is where? Where's the roots?
Natchez, Mississippi.
Mississippi. Okay. So we would do liver and onions and gravy. We as in people in North Carolina, not myself.
Yeah.
I can't get past.
Well, they do the gravy and the onions, but they do it on the side with grits. It's just
that's a lot of texture.
It's just too much.
So liver is one. I don't have many. I probably would say I would eat it now. I probably would eat it now.
Liver?
Rutabaga.
Oh.
I'm changing. No, ma'am.
Okay.
Liver is a no-go, never go. Starve before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not happening. So, rutabaga.
Never even heard of it or seen what it looks like.
So rutabaga, I think, is in the beets, roots family, radishes type thing. But I don't know if it was too mushy or if I feel like it's a combination of squash and cabbage-ish.
I like squash and cabbage.
I do too. I don't like the baby it produces. So I think it was maybe because like now we don't cook vegetables to death where it's mushy. I mean, on a norm because we're learning that if you overcook it, you're taking all the nutrients out.
Right.
So I think the mushiness of it all too, and I was just like, and my grandmother was like, "Oh, you don't like it?" I was like.
So I was about to ask that, like, what made you try this?
My grandmother.
Okay. Was this a normal thing she would cook?
Yes, and she loved it. Bless her heart. And I think I hurt her feelings, but she hurt mine. So I think, I think I would try it again for myself and cook it for myself and see if it will be a difference. Because I think what throws you is that it's in the squash family, but then it's almost like it's supposed to be a vegetable, then there's like a hint of sweetness. You
You
see what
messed
I'm
me with
saying?
that. You
And
messed
I
me
think
with that
that's what
already.
threw me, because I was like, are you going to be a vegetable
Or
or sweet?
trying to be a
Like, what are we trying to do? What are we doing? What's your purpose?
I
And
get
so, yeah, rutabaga would be for me.
I get that.
Okay.
That means you probably eat all the other stuff though. All the other vegetables and stuff.
I don't meet many that I don't like.
Okay.
Other than, I mean, tomatoes and things like that. But I don't know. I can't think of anything. If you think of something, you can ask me, but I don't. Yeah, because I
Alright.
like cabbage, collard greens, all that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to something else on my list since
Okay.
I seem to be the picky one here.
Um,
So I'm gonna say, and this is probably weird, but
there are other people in
it
the world.
is, I do not like bones.
Could you unpack
Some-
that? What do you mean? You don't like bones?
I don't like meat on bones. So I like boneless chicken, boneless fish, boneless everything. Like, if it's on the bone, I'm not gonna eat it. Basically, it needs to come off the bone for me to
So-
consider eating it.
So people, she misses out. Well, she doesn't do steak.
No, I will
But
do
a
steak
filet
tips.
mignon. Okay.
I'll do steak tips, and now mind you though, I haven't quite figured out the texture of a steak would throw me off, so I don't eat it often. But
You gotta get a good steak.
yeah, yeah.
Excuse me. You gotta get a good moist steak, like
So-
Ruth Chris.
So I guess I'll say this. For me, because of the issue that I have with bones, I probably missed out on a lot of good meats. Because I would stay away from meat because
I would
most
have
meats
to
comes
agree.
on bones. So
I would have to.
it's hard to go somewhere and find. I mean, nowadays you can get boneless chicken most of the time. But a lot of places you go, everything's not boneless. So
The funny part is that, well, the interesting part is that you're supposed to have protein and you don't like the thing with
yeah.
with bones.
It does well to my body, but so the thing behind the bones, though, because I know people are wondering, so just to give a little background
Please share.
here.
Please share.
Another moment of mine at my childhood house, sitting at the table eating. Like I said, my mom was really strict about eat all your food type thing. My brother and I was sitting at the table, and he was done. I was always not the last one, but most of the time, if it was something that I didn't want, I would sit there and I just wouldn't eat it. So he was like, I said, I'm done. He said, no, you still got meat on there. And I'm looking and I'm like, no, I don't. So he was like, you better eat all of that, or, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get both of us in trouble. And so I'm trying to not get us in trouble. And I go, and he's like, there's some meat still right there. Eat that. And I put it in my mouth, bit. And somehow I bit into this bone. I had bone in my mouth. And from that moment on, I just didn't want anything with bones on it. It was very weird. So,
There's cultures that break the bone and eat the marrow and all the things.
yeah.
No?
So seeing all of the
The
red, yeah, it was just,
traumatized.
yeah. I don't remember
I
how
can
old
see
I
that
was.
though as a kid though.
I don't remember how old I was. Had I been like maybe even 11 or older, I don't think it would have impacted me the same way.
Well, I think, but even if you were under 11, like kids eat things, but they don't necessarily know, like you say chicken, but they don't think it was a little chicken running around the yard. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Like when you combine the two, like, oh, that little one on the farm that you went to, no, we're eating that. Then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I need to be
Yeah,
vegan.
my daughter would totally feel some type of way if she
See,
thought of it
they
that
don't
way,
connect
yeah.
the two.
They
So
don't.
maybe there would be more traumas.
Yeah, there would be, for sure.
Or you driving down the road and see the big old cow, you don't think of the steak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is one that I had that actually turned around for me.
Okay.
So, and I think this was just, how you can have something, you have too much of it, you just like over it. Not necessarily a trauma, but I don't know what happened with bananas. When I was younger, probably real young, like toddler, I ate bananas. But I remember a point in life where my mom would start cutting it up in my cereal. And I don't know, it turned me off from bananas. So for a long time,
We're gonna take a moment and pray for the Barty family. That all of her traumas are at one table.
Same house too.
All right.
All young. So I had a thing. I couldn't stand the smell of bananas for a long time. It would almost make me sick to my stomach. So I just wouldn't do bananas until I got pregnant with my daughter. Was having leg cramps and stuff, and so I needed bananas. And the way I got back to liking them was I had to start eating baby bananas.
Okay.
They're not as, the taste is not as strong.
Okay.
So
Can I just say though, I think even being an 80s and 90s kid, and if you guys agree, please let us know in the comments. All commercials were not created equal. Like, we saw commercials and cereal boxes where they thought it was cute to chop up bananas and stuff.
Oh,
in
yeah.
cereal.
Right. I don't know.
I think that was part of the 80s and 90s growing up.
It was, because I would totally not put bananas in my child's
never.
cereal at this point. No.
I would never put them in mine. So,
But I do
think
like
that's part of
bananas.
it.
So with saying that though, do you think that a trauma has to remain a trauma when it comes to food?
No, ma'am. Absolutely not. Just because you tried something when you were 8 and had a horrible time. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I didn't like cabbage. I didn't like Brussels sprouts as a kid.
Yeah.
But I love them now. Brussels sprouts, it took me to move away and have them cooked another way outside of North Carolina. Right. And I was like, oh, you know. So, no, I don't think it has to remain a trauma. And I think it is important to always go back and try stuff again. Because I think even like when you talk to people or people tell you certain things, it takes sometimes more than one time for it to click.
Yep.
So, but even foods with the baby, you know, I think we make it too easy.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say, we'll introduce bananas and then the baby's like, it's like, they don't like bananas. Or, you know, peaches or whatever it is, you'll introduce it one time. It's new.
Yeah.
They're just coming into the
it
world. They've been on milk for how long?
Right.
And you think one time, one
Surely
introduction,
like
they're
milk.
like, yeah. So I think, no, I don't think it should. I think you should continue to try stuff and different ways.
I agree.
To see.
And I think, and I'm proud to say, because I was really picky as a kid, so I'm proud to say that I feel like I've done that. I've tried stuff again in my adult life, and I do like a lot of things that I did not like before. So
this is a win, y'all. She said she was picky as a kid. She has been picky.
I mean, I eat Brussels sprouts now. I eat cabbage. It's really not that many vegetables I don't eat anymore.
That's good.
So
that's good. We'll take it.
But again, I think the way you cook it is a big piece of it.
It's
so
key.
it's just a confirmation that you need to learn to cook for yourself, because the way one person may do it, that's, that may not be the only way,
True. What is something that you maybe want to try that you've not tried thus far?
I would say
anything.
I mean, I'm a little bit more open now. I don't think I have anything specific.
Oh, okay.
But I think I want to try like more cultural foods. Like I didn't grow up trying, it was like where I'm from, it was your typical American.
Yeah.
From New Orleans, so lots of Cajun food, but right. And then we had Vietnamese. So that was a lot.
You never mentioned that.
But yeah, I mean,
is that the bowl you like, the yakime?
Yes.
Is that from the Vietnamese?
The Vietnamamese introduced us to that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I haven't
seen something new
to find that anywhere here. I asked
it's probably something else.
I asked a coworker the other day about. I said, "Who sells yakime?" Like I can make it myself, but
So the one we're supposed to go to with one of our coworkers, that place, you think they don't?
She mentioned that from her experience, it's not a thing.
She knows what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
But
and I had never heard of it. So it's also good to talk to people from other states and things like that, because I think we also think South is South. It's just fried chicken, mac and cheese, and da-da-da. But, we grew up with a lot of rice.
Hmm.
You grew up with a lot of grits.
A lot of rice too.
Rice too, but
Rice with
beans and
everything.
rice,
Beans
right?
and rice.
And then there's grits with certain stuff, and so it's fun to one, I would say, and encourage travel. It doesn't have to be far. I'm talking about 1 or 2 states over. Like start there
Different, right?
because it's night and day from New Orleans to Alabama
Yep.
to North Carolina to Virginia and Maryland.
Yeah.
There, it's all different.
You're right. I've learned that. But I do want to try some different cultural foods. Like there's a lot of like African foods I've never heard of or tried or
Let's start with fufu.
So
We'll start basic. Start with fufu.
yeah.
But okay, and then I'll probably try. I'll be like, yeah,
I would say presentation is everything though.
this is
Know,
true.
because it's some stuff you sitting in front of me and
Slap on a plate.
it does not look edible
No,
or
thank you,
presentable.
please.
I'm like, So speaking of that, you made me think of what I mentioned, pig lips. So that's a thing in New Orleans. A lot of people eat pig lips, which is like they're pickled in a jar. People eat them with chips and stuff. That is something I have never. All I had to do was smell it and
Y'all pray
see
for
it.
my face.
I didn't want it because, for one, I just didn't like the name. I don't like the look. I don't like the smell. So that's one thing that I never tried. I'm not willing to try it. So there's nothing wrong with still having some boundaries, but being open to
I can't even
considering
imagine.
what it is, I guess.
Pig lips. So okay, so we grew up the corner stores with the pickled pig feet.
So it's kind of like that.
That's horrible because they're pink. They're in this red liquid.
Yeah, that's up.
And then what's up with the eggs? It wasn't an egg in the
Sometimes I've seen an egg, like a boiled egg. You talking about?
yeah, but is it pickled too?
Yes, it's pickled. If it's in that jar with it, yes.
But who would have thought to pickle an egg? I need to know. Who? But lips, I promise you, I probably would scream as an adult.
You might.
Because all I know is the pickled pig feet in the jars and the eggs.
But that's
And
enough right there.
pickles.
Seeing,
Like that's all I remember. And I remember walking, like visually right now, I remember walking by that jar like,
yeah, seeing,
you know what I mean? Like don't open it, don't ask, yeah. And I never saw anyone eat them, but then they were all, gone.
Yeah, seeing pig feet in itself is
Horrible.
I remember when I was working at Publix and people would come in there and buy that stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to eat chicken. Like, you about to make me turn vegan.
It's a mess. It's messy. It's messy. And it's crazy because even now, like, I don't eat them now. And I ate them probably,
Pig feet?
no, Chip, I'm sorry. So please forgive
I
me.
said
Both of
friend.
us may start talking about something before you know what we're talking about. So let me digress. I'm talking about chitlins. Chitterlings.
Oh, that's
chitlins.
another one I'm not.
Have you ever eaten them? Okay, so I used to eat them.
Presentation.
So no. I used to eat them. This lady used to cook them, and I promise you, you just thought you would eating
I think you told me about
a
this
piece of
lady.
meat or something beside rice. Like it was
It's
amazing.
not chewy?
Not if you cook them right. They just break up. Like it's just,
And it's
What?
meat.
yeah, technically it's meat.
It don't register in my brain like that.
North Carolina knows chitlins. Chitterlings for the proper
You ever cook
chitlins.
them yourself?
I shall not ever. They were always done on the holidays, but
Okay.
I only ate them on holidays, Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Okay.
I mean, amazing. Until I got older and saw
Your
them,
stomach felt okay with that?
amazing. But that you don't know any different. I'm raised with that, right?
Yeah.
However, when we're talking about
Why
the
don't you eat
kids,
them anymore?
When we talk about the kids not knowing and connecting things, so when I got older,
Realize what it was.
No, I saw the process to clean it.
Oh.
Done. Done. Because it's the pig's intestines.
Well, yeah. I mean, I still struggle with just like cleaning a turkey for Thanksgiving and
Turkey
stuff.
is
Like
fine. Turkey doesn't even come close.
But
because they are literally squeezing feces out of a...
But this is like raw meat in general. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, if we in the kitchen together, I'm gonna be like, sis, like.
Now, the older I get, I don't want to touch it as much.
Yeah.
I do gloves, but
Right.
a turkey is not. Because they've cleaned most of it.
Yeah, but
Everything comes in a bag,
it's
right?
the feeling of raw meat, I think, on
Okay.
my hands. It's a sensory thing or something. I don't know.
That makes sense. Chicken, I think I'm getting like that, but I do gloves. All right. Let's see, because we're gonna wrap it up. So, yes, I think it is. I would say my takeaways. It's important to introduce your children as early as possible to new things, not just what is available right there. Shannon knows one of my things is you get one life and one moment to try to enjoy all these foods. So go for as much as you can with your boundaries.
Right.
But go try out different cultures. It took me to move to another state when I was in Virginia and get around like cultures that had authentic food, like Vietnamese, Filipino, African, Jamaican, like the whole melting pot. It took me to do that. But I was always like, I guess I always related it because I think every culture has some of the same foods.
Yeah.
They're just called different things.
True. And
You know?
they have different flavor.
But I was grateful to meet like an amazing Puerto Rican lady. I call her More, which is love. I worked with her and she would bring adobo chicken. But then adobo chicken is in Filipino cuisines. Both equally good.
Okay.
Good.
But
With
they're
the
not
rice.
the same.
But it's chicken and rice.
Okay.
And it's almost like a stewed down chicken.
Okay.
So good. And then Filipinos, they do this thing called lumpia. But in the Spanish culture, it's a taquito.
So this is why my question is always, what is that?
A taquito?
No, when you food, like what is that?
I'm like, it's like
because it could be a different name, like you said, but it might be something that you already
close to the same.
Yeah.
Like lumpia would be close to like a little spring roll.
Okay.
With some meat in it.
Okay.
Good stuff. Try new foods, please and thank you.
Don't let your traumas hold you back from trying it again.
Don't let bones hold you back. Don't let bones hold you back. All right. So let us know what you think. Post and comment foods that may have traumatized you. Share your experiences in the comments. And we will see you next time. Thank you for joining Shenanigans with Shannon and Lena.
Thank you.
Bye.